What's going on, guys? Now, I have started working on my custom Bizarro, but in the old school Bizarro colors. Just started painting in some of the purples, and then I did the eyes the way I want them. But it's a work in progress. Let's see when I get done with this guy.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, we're going to take a look at the next figure I will be adding to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now this time it is going to be the re-release of the Death Metal Batman Battle Damage style. Now, this is not really a big release that I was waiting for, but I did order two. One for my shelf and one to keep in my unopened mint in box collection. As a completist, I do pick up all of the McFarlane Multiverse figures that are released. But sometimes I pick up more, and sometimes I only pick up two. So let's take a look at him. He looks pretty good in the package. Not too many differences, but let's check it out. Now, coming off of the release of the repaint of Azrael from the White Knight, this is a case where the repaint, it looks really good. It looks like a completely different figure. And I'm really happy to add it to my shelf. But this one that we're looking at now really doesn't have that many differences. I mean, it's the differences are minimal, and you could pick it up or you could pass on it. It really won't make a difference. But like I said before, I pretty much choose to pick it up. Now, he does come with the standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now, it is not necessarily needed, but does come in handy sometimes. He also comes with a data file card. Now on this one, they did take an image of the figure, and in the original release, it is an image from metal. Pretty contrasting styles of imagery, and on the back it has basically the same things, just a little slight differences, but we'll go ahead and add that to the collection. Now, the only accessories he comes with are the same two battle axes that came with the original release. Now, of course, the original release was from the Merciless wave, where you received a piece to build Merciless and also the battle axes, and this time you just get the battle axes. Pretty nice weapons. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Now, like I said before, this is a re-release, but it does have a little bit of differences. Looks pretty good, the same figure. A lot of people really like this head sculpt. I think the only deterrent would be that it's built on this neck peg that's very similar to the Kickstarter Spawn figure, where it sits inside of that hole and you could move the whole neck and head. So I think it really would have been better if they would have just did the standard head articulations that they do. With a cape swap, you would have a more comic book accurate Rebirth figure, but they decided to go with this head. I guess they only did it rarely. This one, I think the Azrael as well has this, but the Azrael, the head is still articulated, and this one, it's just stuck on. But a really nice head sculpt. Of course, they did add a little bit of blood to the edge of his mouth. Moving down, you have that awesome Rebirth bat symbol with that yellow. The cape doesn't come down from the neck. It's actually just over the shoulders, but it does transition well, where you have the shoulders and the collarbone area, and then the cape comes over and just like slides right into the front. Pretty nice, actually. Now this is the same McFarlane articulation with the waist. You get all that movement. You could twist them. This is actually one of the better waist articulations that McFarlane did, so it's pretty nice. Moving down to the belt, she got that rebirth belt. Looks pretty good. A little bit of battle damage on it. Now this is where you could start seeing the paint that they added, which like on these cuts here right at his abdomen, you have the 3 cuts with blood. Looking at the arms, he has the butterfly joints, the double jointed elbows, the wrist gauntlets, and then of course a little bit more blood on the bicep cuts there. This is all stuff that we saw before. When we saw this sculpt, you could see that it had like damages that they didn't paint, but now they did paint it, so you know, this is thinking like way ahead of what you're going to use the molds for. Moving down, let's check out his thigh swivel. He does have a pretty generous thigh swivel, not too much. A lot of beautiful sculpting in the inner thigh there. Really nice sculpt work on the legs. You could twist them out and then pop the knees to give them those double jointed knees. Moving down, these are pretty much the best sculpted boots for a Batman from McFarlane. And then he does have ankle articulation, rocker, and toe articulation. Let's take a look at him from the bottom. Not really tread, but a little bit of stylized lines. Moving up, more cool sculpt work. And then this is one of the main differences of this one compared to the original release, is that they did add the purple paint underneath, and it is more of a dark, deep purple with a little gloss finish. The cape is more tattered than the original one. The original one's like a fuller cape, and this one has a lot of holes. Even up on the shoulders, there's some holes in there and tattered, you know, pieces. So pretty cool for what it is. Of course, you can fit his axe into his hand if you want to display him like that, like the cover of the metal. Pretty cool. And of course, this is not my first run-in with this figure. Of course, we have the original release that did come just with the battle axes and no extra paint. Also, the cape is more fuller, but he's a pretty nice figure. I always thought he was a good sculpt, just that he's more of a reference of the cover of the comic than anything else, but really like him. So I went ahead and did my own repaint way before this, where I added tons of blood all over, like it's really splattered in there. And then I added even flesh tone, where you could see some flesh mixed in with the blood on the cuts on his uniform. And then I did paint the underneath cape purple, just that I used a little bit more flat. I just thought it looked a lot better than like a glossy finish. Really like this one. He's usually up there on my custom paint shelf, but he looks really good as well. And then I also ended up making my own custom like Batman, where I changed out the cape, even though it is purple underneath, but a more fuller cape from the Batman 1000. And then I actually modified the head, where you can actually articulate the head and move it, you know, around as it should be. I just like that a little bit better. You get more, you know, character out of it. You could move it around. But this is another little custom that I did. Pretty cool. Interesting figure to add to the shelf. He'll be going up there, you know, displayed with the rest of his Multiverse brothers. Really nice interpretation of Batman. It's just, of course, that there's things I like and things I don't like, but really having fun with this line, so it's not a big deal. But if you want to add him to your collection, he's hitting stores right now. If not, you wouldn't miss anything out if you just passed them by. So, pretty nice figure to be adding to the collection. You guys stay hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.